There is a fungus that ended civilizations, and right now, today, it is moving through your garden. Every year, Americans spend $800 million trying to stop it. Every year, it comes back. But 300 miles from New York City, there are families who have grown tomatoes for 3 centuries and never lost a single plant to blight. Their secret is a piece of string. I know how that sounds. I thought the same thing when I first heard it, sitting across from a 67-year-old Amish farmer named Daniel Byler in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. 40 years, same 11 acres, not one crop lost to blight. No fungicide, no copper spray, no treatment of any kind, just string. What he showed me that afternoon completely reframed every assumption I had about how disease moves through a garden. And the uncomfortable part, the part I want you to sit with, is that the science proving exactly why this works has been published in peer-reviewed journals since the 1980s. It was never hidden. It just does not sell anything. Before I show you the method, I need you to understand what you are actually fighting. Phytophthora infestans. The name means plant destroyer, in Greek and Latin combined. It is not technically a fungus. It is a water mold. And that single detail changes everything about how you fight it. It needs water, on the leaf, sitting still, for at least 10 hours. That is the only window it has. That is the entire life cycle. Take away those 10 hours of surface moisture, and the pathogen cannot infect. It cannot germinate. It cannot spread. It starves. The blight does not destroy your tomatoes because it is powerful. It destroys them because your garden is wet. This is the thing the $800 million industry does not want to be the headline. Because the solution to a moisture problem is not a spray bottle. It is airflow. Let me show you exactly what I mean, and I want you to picture your own garden while I do this. If you are growing tomatoes in a wire cage, here is what is happening at the leaf level on any humid morning. Leaves are pressed against other leaves. Dew sits in the center of the cage, trapped and still, with no wind to move it. The interior of the cage stays wet for 6, 8, sometimes 12 hours after the sun comes up. Spores that splashed up from the soil in last week's rainstorm are sitting on those lower leaves, waiting. Your cage is not a support system. It is a blight incubator. And here is the moment that hit me with full force. The cage creates the disease, and the fungicide manages the disease the cage created. You buy both. Both fail. You buy both again, every spring. Same shelf, same cycle. Now let me show you what Byler does instead. 4 mistakes. Most gardeners make all 4. I made all 4. First, the cage. It collapses by July. The plant sprawls, leaves bundle, moisture traps, blight establishes. You spray. You are already losing. Second, leaving the lower foliage on. By mid-season, every leaf below 12 inches is living in shadow, staying wet, staying dark. It is not feeding the plant anymore. It is feeding the pathogen. Those leaves are not an asset. They are a liability accumulating interest every time it rains. Third, planting too close. Cages pull plants together. 2 feet of canopy becomes one dense, airless mass. Spacing is airflow. Airflow is the entire game. Fourth, and this is the one that changes how you think, treating the blight as the problem. The blight is not the problem. The microclimate you built for the blight, the still, wet, enclosed air around dense, collapsed foliage, that is the problem. Solve the microclimate, and the blight never establishes. Fight the blight directly, and you are spraying hope into a system designed to keep failing. Phytophthora infestans survived the Irish famine. It killed 1 million people. You are not going to outspray it, but you can outsmart it with a string. Here's exactly what Daniel Byler does. Follow this precisely because the details matter. Step 1. The structure. Drive 2 posts at the ends of your tomato row, 7 feet above soil level. Run a single horizontal wire, or heavy twine, between them at the top. This is your overhead anchor. Step 2. The strings. Cut individual lengths of natural jute twine, not plastic. I will tell you why in a moment. Cut them long enough to reach from that wire all the way down to the base of each plant. Tie the top end to the wire directly above each planting spot. Tie the bottom end loosely to a small stake pushed into the soil, the side where your plant will go. 1 string per plant. That is the entire structure. Step 3. Training. Every 3 to 5 days, take the growing tip and twist it once around the string, clockwise, 1 wrap. The plant learns to follow it upward. You are not forcing it, you are giving it a direction. Step 4. Strip the lower leaves. Everything below 12 inches, gone. Clean stem, bare soil. No foliage for rain splash to carry spores onto. No leaves sitting wet in the dark. This single step eliminates the primary infection pathway that most gardeners are maintaining without even knowing it. Now, about the jute. Byler does not use plastic twine. Natural jute biodegrades in 1 season. At the end of the year, the string composts with the plant. No microplastic accumulation in the soil. No synthetic material building up in beds that will grow food for decades. The Amish are not sentimental about tradition. They are ruthlessly practical. Everything that enters the garden must serve the garden. Plastic does not serve the garden. Step 5. The morning read. Every morning, before the temperature climbs, walk your rows and check the lowest leaves first. You are looking for one thing: a pale, slightly greasy, water-soaked spot. Like a wet fingerprint pressed into the leaf. That is blight in its first hour. Pull the leaf immediately. Do not compost it. Take it off the property. Because within 4 hours of the right conditions, 1 infected leaf can sporulate and reinfect the entire row. Byler has done this every morning for 40 years. It takes 3 minutes. It is the reason he has never lost a crop. The result: each plant becomes a vertical column of moving air. Morning dew evaporates in minutes, not hours. Rain splash from the soil never reaches the upper canopy. The leaf surfaces dry fast. The 10-hour moisture window that Phytophthora needs to infect never opens. A study published in the journal Plant Disease found that vertical, single-leader training alone reduces late blight incidence by up to 74% in controlled field trials. No chemical, no spray, no product at all, just geometry, just airflow, just a piece of string, arranged by someone who understood, centuries before the journals confirmed it, that you do not beat disease by attacking it. You beat it by removing what it needs to live. Now here's the part I want you to sit with. That 74% figure is not new research. The relationship between canopy microclimate and blight has been documented since the 1980s. Penn State Extension offices published guidance on vertical tomato training years ago. The mechanism is not disputed. The science is settled. Walk into any garden center in America this spring. What do you see? Wire cages stacked floor to ceiling. right next to the fungicide display. The cage creates the disease. The fungicide manages the disease the cage created. Together, they are a closed system, and not for your benefit. The cage creates the wet microclimate. The blight exploits it. The spray suppresses it just enough that you come back next spring and buy both again. This is not a conspiracy. It is just economics.
A string costs nothing, and a system that costs nothing is a terrible business. So the $800 million industry sells you the problem and the solution in the same shopping cart every single season. While families in Lancaster County tie jute to a wire and grow tomatoes that outlast October, they were never trying to fight the blight. They were watching the air. Here is what you do this spring. 2 posts, 1 wire, 1 string per plant. Strip the lower foliage. Walk your rows at dawn and read the leaves. Pull anything suspicious and take it off the property. That is the system. That is all of it. No product, no purchase, no subscription. Just an understanding of what blight needs to survive and the decision to stop giving it. Because the blight has been patient for 180 years. It ended a civilization. It is still on your street, on your soil, in last season's plant debris you did not fully clear out. It will be patient through your copper spray, through your neem oil, through whatever the garden center recommends this April. But it cannot be patient in dry, moving air. It cannot wait out a plant that gives it nothing to hold on to. And it cannot outlast a farmer who walks his rows every morning in the gray light before breakfast, reading his plants the way his father read them, and his father before that, on the same land, with the same string, on the same 11 acres. While you were buying bottles, they were watching the air. Drop a comment and tell me what you are changing in your garden this season. I read every one. Subscribe for more. There are more stories like this coming. Secrets that do not sell products. Secrets that actually work.